Welcome yet again to another lesson presentation in Social Studies for a Grade 5 class. Our topic of discussion today is transport and communication, which critically looks at the development of transport and communication services in a district like Ndola. Transport simply means the movement of people and goods from one place to another, as you may know. Now, it is key to note that the development of transport begins with or starts with a person through walking. When you are walking, it means that you are providing transport for yourself because you are able to move from point A to point B. Now, for us to understand maybe better, the sequence of transport development will help you understand deeply. Alright, from walking, long ago people thought they could no longer continue walking but find some means of help. Therefore, they came up with making use of scotch cards. Muchibemba efirya mwitati ichiko chikala. It is a scotch cart, probably emanating from the fact that when you are using this form of transport, you are scorched by the sun, even if you are moving from one point to another. All right. From there, the transport sector continued, developing bit by bit, thereby introducing cycling of bicycles by individuals to easen up the process of moving from one point to another, as well as transporting different goods to provide services in particular places. All right, from there, people said no, let us now use motor vehicles to modernize the form of transport, to easen up, to enhance the transport sector. The introduction of motor vehicles was made. People started now using different motor vehicles. As you can see in the pictures there are different, types of vehicles. Small cars, you talk of buses, as well as trucks that are able to carry different cargo, so much heavier that cannot be ferried by small cars like the one indicated in the picture. All right. From there, let's look at communication now. Communication is simply the passing on or transmission of information, which are messages from one person to another in different places. Okay, this evolved from things like the human messenger. You and I, long time ago, were able to actually make use of the service of transmitting one message to another by simply walking physically from one to place just to ensure that information is passed on or reaches the intended people that are supposed to actually make use of it as end users. Alright, from the human messenger, communication moved on to drums because people thought just to make sure that somebody travels from one place to another to ferry information, people started using drums. When you beat a drum, it means that you are passing information to some people or groups of people. For example, where I come from in Luapula, when you play Itumba, it means that you are informing the community that the chief or the king of a particular kingdom has died. And this is information passed. Once people listen to the drum, they will be able to say, our chief or our king is no more, is dead. We move on. From there, people thought, no, it is quite primitive to make use of the drums. But let us try to modernize the way communication should be done, or is supposed to be done. Therefore, the handwritten letters were introduced to replace drums. People in this era used handwritten letters. Even in our day, we are able to use letters to ferry or to pass on different messages from one point to another. All right. From there, we are able to use land phones, which are also known as telex. From letters, it was felt that it was quite cumbersome, and the form of communication continued transforming itself through technological advances. So the land phones or telexes were able to be introduced at this particular time, which are being used even in our current day, I believe. Most of you people, most of your parents have used this form of communication. We move on. Advanced methods saw the introduction of cell phones in the process of trying to communicate from one person to another in different places. All right. Therefore, we've talked much about how transport and communication were, developed slowly but sure, or have been developed slowly but sure. Therefore, let's look at the activity that you are going to carry home. Now, our home take assignment says give advantages and disadvantages of each of the forms of transport and communication discussed. The second one says add on more forms of transport and communication in picture format accompanied by their names. Of course, you may be aware that we have not discussed all the forms of transport and communication that we have available even as at now. What we have tried to do is simply looking at some of these forms of transport and communication so that we show how these were developed gradually from ancient to modern times. Children, I hope you have taken very good, understanding of this topic, because it is very important that you are able to know and tell people to say this is how the transport system was developed from primitive to more advanced forms, as well as communication. It is goodbye from me, Teacher Chinyanta, once more until the next lessons. Goodbye.